All right, guys. So we got Vincent here today. We don't know a ton about Vincent. I've done a little bit of research. He is a nice young man from Manalapan, correct?
Millstone.
Millstone. I thought Manalapan. I apologize.
That's where we filmed out of.
All right. That's where I got it. At least I wasn't completely off base. We hooked up with him through Alan at Waves. They're both music producers and in the entertainment industry in that capacity. We've had a couple chats, and Kono seems to align pretty well with some of mine and Pete's opinions and views. He's fairly successful at a young age of 23. He's got a flourishing YouTube channel and music career. And we hope to get everybody some takeaways and a little bit of guidance today. Kono, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm just happy to be here. Honestly, I want to talk about the things that you guys talk about on this podcast, just about like self-improvement, stuff like that. I'm extremely passionate. When I came across your channel, I'm like, yo, like that's literally, when I'm not trolling people, that's literally all I'm about. So I'm happy to be here. Yeah, we started YouTube like 2 months ago, and it's going amazing right now.
How many
and
views
TikTok.
do you have?
On YouTube, I honestly don't know. Andrew, I'd have to ask Andrew how many. I think we have 2 million views on YouTube right now, but TikTok was our bread and butter. We hit like over 11, maybe closer to 12 million views on TikTok right now. But yeah, and then Instagram too is popping off right now. So we're just doing whatever it takes.
Now, all of that success came pretty quick to you?
The interviews, because like I said, we just started like 2 months ago. So this has been popping off.
And prior to that, you were doing music production and
just strictly music production. I mean, my brand Craft Culture technically started in 2017, and we just like tried everything, you know. And like I don't mind trying like 20 different things. I mean, I'm willing to fail over and over and over until we get it right. And I feel like we got it right this time.
So one of my favorite things that I've heard on this podcast, you just said you're willing to fail over and over. I have failed over and over.
Yeah.
When you face that adversity, and I'm sure Pete can relate to this, that's what makes or breaks you.
Yeah.
So if you face some adversity, a lot of people want to walk away, cower, hide in a pillow. But I know for me, up until now, I never really established real healthy coping techniques. Now I have them. I've taken a ton away as far as meditation, the mushroom extracts. I started Magic Mind, just things to bring the stress level down.
Yeah.
When you, let's say you failed or faced some adversity, what were some techniques you used to center yourself?
That's a great question. It's always changed, but I would say, honestly, number one is gratitude. Right. So I was just telling you guys before we started that like we're all kind of tuning forks, right? We all have a state of vibration. Every person in this room is vibrating at a frequency right now. And if you could start your day at tuning yourself to be in harmony with, let's say, gratitude, then obviously that's your vibration for the day. And you have to feel it, you know, because that's what emotion is. You need to put energy in motion, because that's what emotion is. And if you write it down or express that gratitude, you're just vibrating at that frequency of gratitude all day long. Yeah. And I promise you, like every single day, it's just, you guys know about the reticular activating system?
I have no knowledge of that.
Have you heard about that?
No.
I don't want to seem like I'm like this smart guy. This is out there. This isn't like hidden knowledge, but
no, just tell us what you know and what you practice, and other people are going to be able to benefit.
Yeah. So your reticular activating system is basically like if you were to, let's say like this podcast, all I talk about is like a Rolls Royce, right, for some reason. And then after this podcast, you go outside and, it's like, Rolls Royce is actually a bad example. Let's say I was talking about Honda Civics. Right. And then you go outside and it's like every Honda Civic passes you, it's like you recognize those Honda Civics more.
It's like the red car theory.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say right now, the red car theory. So basically, the reticular activating system is that your brain is constantly trying to find reasons why you're right. You have beliefs, and then all day long, you're trying to find reasons why those beliefs are right. So if you have like a suspicion that maybe your wife is like cheating on you or something like that, you're gonna be more like, oh, like what was that text the other day that you got? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be more on your toes about it.
You're searching.
Right, because you have that inner belief. So if you could get yourself to believe that you are, let's say, successful or healthy or anything, your brain is going to make an effort to find reasons why that belief is true and valid. Okay? So, and if your brain can't find those reasons, I believe that your body will attract that into your life regardless. So if you wake up and you tell yourself, you program yourself with the beliefs that you're successful, you're healthy, you're doing great, you're grateful, you will find more reasons to be grateful every single day. That's how the body works. That's how your state of vibration works every single day.
Now, would you say this is similar to manifestation?
It's exactly what it is.
Do you have?
It's just the science behind it.
Do you have like? Does it look the same way every day? Like, is there a specific few things that you're grateful for every morning to start the day? Or is it a little bit more circumstantial on what's going on in your life at the time?
It's always circumstantial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
You start with a few, like five to 10 things you're grateful for?
I have to keep it short because I just have so much to do, but I make it 5.
Cool.
And, it's always like family. It's always like the fact that I'm able to wake up in my parents' house. I'm living with my parents still, but...
You're a baby, bro. You're 23.
No, I feel like we lose sight on so many different things. We get so wrapped up in, maybe chasing a certain amount of success and different things, and we really lose sight of a lot of things. And I feel like slowing things down and just being grateful for, like, literally silly stuff, like the roof over my head, electricity, running water. Like, we could really dumb things down, because I've been there where I've been, making good money, chasing maybe more money, and like feeling like unfulfilled, where I lost sight of a lot of these hidden blessings that we have every single day.
100%.
So what else besides the gratitude do you start your day on?
Yeah, so I do like the 3 G's. It's like gratitude, God, and gym.
Nice.
But I start off by praying, and for sure I just pray, and then gratitude. But I make sure, I just want to capitalize on the gratitude thing, is like, I don't just like say it or write it down. You have to feel it. Right. You have to be like in the present moment. You have to take a second to like close your eyes and like remember that thing that happened yesterday that made you super grateful. Remember those things. Feel it, because like that's what it is. That's how you manifest things, is you have to feel it. And then, you set yourself up for the rest of the day. And then obviously gym. I'm not in tune with the cold plunge as much as you guys are, but I try to do the cold showers.
Let me backtrack. I'm not super in tune with the cold plunge.
Okay.
Petey is. Okay. I'm getting there and getting familiar with it, but this kid lives for a cold plunge.
But mine started with the cold shower, so that's a part of your morning routine as well? The cold
showers? I try to. I'm not going to say I do it every day, but I definitely try to. It's just like, if you're trying to get yourself to be mentally present, there's no other way to do it than a cold plunge.
It's so funny that you even bring it up. We do talk about cold plunges a lot, but as I'm in there for 3 minutes, I'm doing a lot of the things that you're talking about in that 3-minute window. So I was talking a little bit before where like sometimes I'll just kind of like downward spiral if I take a few L's throughout the day and I get kind of clouded thoughts. Where when I'm in the plunge, I have my gratitude going, I have my prayer going, and if a negative thought does kind of pop into my mind, it doesn't like go anywhere else. It doesn't turn into a tidal wave. It's just like, oh yeah, that happened, and then I'm just right back to gratitude, prayer, taking deep breaths. For me, it's almost like meditation while I'm in there. So that I get my breathing right, and I think that's why, aside from all the good things it does to your body and your mind, like, I think that's why it's been so beneficial for me, because it forces me to slow down.
Yes.
And like hit the brakes.
But now you always push the 3 minutes. Where did you come up with the 3 minutes? Because I know when I did it, I've gotten a minute and a half, and it's been comfortable and okay. The cold shower I'll do as long as I could tolerate at the end of a shower. But is there like a reason why you aim for 3 minutes all the time, or is that just your body and how you feel?
I'm not sure. I started at Thrive, and they have like a 5-minute t-shirt, but like 3 minutes just seemed to be the mark. What I like about the 3-minute window is that you want to get out after like 90 seconds. And like, I always have my phone going. I have a timer going, but then like I've been doing a lot of like video recording while I'm in there, so I could see how much time is left. So if I was in there for 45 seconds, my feet are freezing cold, my body's telling me to get the hell out. So I like the 3 minutes because it forces me to stay in that moment, and I can't just jump out. Which is what I was saying about the cold showers. When I first started with the cold showers, I was very overwhelmed, depressed, anxious, whatever you want to call it. And I would turn the water on super cold, but you could hide from it.
Yeah.
So I would go to like the back of the shower, you know, and it would kind of be hitting my feet.
You can splash.
Where like you could hide or you could turn it to hot, where, you know, when I'm fully submerged in it, I just know in my mind the 3 minutes has gotten easier and easier because I'm like, all right, I did 3 minutes yesterday. I could do it again today. And it doesn't really get any easier, but it puts me at peace for a little while.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I know I've said it a couple times. Coming on here brings me peace. So, like, non-traditional stuff has worked. That's kind of why we're here. And you probably wouldn't see we're not friends on Facebook. I put a post up. Somebody had reached out based on one of our episodes, and we were able to get them into treatment for some mental health issues. Next day, somebody else reached out, and I text Pete and Ev. This week, I've felt more successful than I've ever felt in my life and more at peace. Not because I've attained any wealth, not because I had any business success or personal success, but the ability to help others. And when we started this, it wasn't about, don't take this the wrong way, it's not about YouTube views for us or none of that. Maybe a couple people could hear some things that we say and it helps them. And this week, we've impacted, at minimum, 2 people significantly that are now in treatment with Danny Regan, who I don't know if you saw his episode. He has a treatment center in Freehold, Relevance Behavioral Health. And we've had countless other people this week alone reach out just that are in the process of finding themselves, doing things like you are, starting the day off right, exploring a cold plunge or whatever it is that might work for them, because what works for you or Pete doesn't necessarily work for me.
Yeah,
I'm fucked up in that sense.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, if our day starts with basically a fork in the road, we pretty much have 2 avenues. We can go the avenue that you're going down, which is making sure that you're doing these things for yourself. Or we could wake up when I'm at my worst, which is on full-on reaction mode. You start reacting to your phone. You know, I have kids, so now you're reacting to the kids. And now you're playing catch-up all day, blah, 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 blah. And before you know it, so being young, 23 years old, and being self-aware of what makes you tick. Now, obviously, the gym is helping. You look like a physical specimen.
Thanks.
You know, so you got that going. You got your prayer going. You got your gratitude going. I mean, what more do we really need? Now, anything else that comes your way, it's like, oh, okay, wow, that was great. But I personally think that you wouldn't be where you're at if your morning routine looked any different. Or if you maybe didn't have all 3 of those G's. If you were missing one of those G's, maybe it's God, maybe it's gratitude, maybe it's gym. Maybe you're not where you're at right now if you're kind of lacking one of those categories. So I totally commend you for that.
Thank you. Yeah. And I just want to capitalize or piggyback off of something that you said. I think that this is going to bring you the most happiness because this is like equivalent to journaling. You know, I'm a big journaler.
Nice.
And
It's a good way to put it.
It's therapeutic. It's cathartic to just talk about your thoughts and everything like that. And also, I really respect what you guys are doing because like I used to think happiness was a result of receiving something external, but you guys are going to find the most happiness in this because you're using your suffering in your life to better other people. You know, you guys came together because you're going through something in your lives, right? Both of you. And now you're using that to kind of, you know, help other people and talk about certain things and relate to other people. So that's just super respectable, I guess you could say. And like I just really respect you guys for doing that.
I agree with you. I mean, I stand by the fact, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I want to help everybody because I can't figure out how to actually fix my shit. I've tried to talk to a therapist. It doesn't really work for me. I can't manage that situation properly. I'm just not built for it. Me and Pete sit at this table and have the exchanges we do with friends and guests, and we provide an outlet to certain people that maybe need to hear that somebody that they kind of know. I mean, in town, I know a lot of people. Petey knows everybody. They're hearing people that they're a little familiar with having some struggles that everybody has.
Yeah.
There's no one that could tell me they don't have struggles. Now, you're 23, you're young. So the struggles at 38 that I've faced with 15 years on you are significantly different than where you're at. And I have to take my hat off to you. At 23, bro, I had no knowledge of myself. I barely knew who I was. I barely could get up in the morning. Yeah. And here you are, you're practicing a little bit of what we preach, and you're finding your center, your balance, and working through your ups and downs. But maybe if I had started younger, I'd have the tools today at 38 to focus on fixing me. But for the meantime, like you said, this is what is helping.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. 100%. But I am very adamant on, there was a while there where I was living in the rearview mirror. And when I was your age, I was messing up, you know? So now that I'm 37, my birthday's next month, I'll be 38. I spent a lot of time in the rearview mirror going, oh man, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. Before bed, oh, I can't believe you said that to so-and-so, or you can't believe you did that. But I'm adamant that my journey went the way it was to get me to where I am currently and where I'm going to be. Like, if I hoped that I was more like you when I was 23, maybe I would be on a different trajectory. Yeah, I'd probably have like way more money. Maybe I would be doing different things, but you don't want to spend too much time in that rear view. And I think a lot of people get stuck there. You know, it's only a small rectangle for a reason. We've talked about that. But if you spend too much time there looking back, then you're going to miss sight on the present, and you're going to miss sight on what you have ahead of you in the future. So I think it was the right time for you to be self-aware and get you to be where you needed to be. I think it happened at the exact right time. But we were talking before, and I don't think you were near us, Billy, but we were talking about that health scare that you had, and that was really what got us here.
Yeah.
It wasn't
we discussed it a bunch of times, but
but that was when
there was no sense of urgency.
But that was when there was, you know, you basically said there's no more talking.
Yeah, 100%.
I know how precious life is, which I think we lose sight in, and especially if you're not doing the gratitude and different things, we're getting caught up on social media. Oh, this guy's got a Lamborghini. I got a freaking 4Runner. Like, oh, I suck. You know, so we're in like this comparative world. That tough moment for you to basically fear for your life and your
100%.
Family's life, you said, I don't have time to wait.
Yeah.
The time is right now.
Yeah.
You know?
And Tommy Russo kind of fell to the wayside because of that. He was having a baby, and scheduling wise, he couldn't sit with us in the beginning. But not 38. I'll tell you something. My whole life, I wanted to be successful. Maybe I'm a little successful. I have some nice stuff, but the car you're driving, the amount of money in the bank, none of it matters if you're not waking up. Because I was there. My wife found me unresponsive. I had pneumonia that I didn't know about, and it took me out. I got shocked in my bedroom, the whole 9 yards. I was in the hospital for 4 days. I came home. Pete came in my backyard. As soon as I got home, I took a nap. He came over as soon as I was awake. And like 3 weeks later, I think we were in here discussing everything and getting going. But no amount of money replaces happiness. No amount of money replaces health. And for me, it took some time to figure out where my priorities were. Like, you heard me before when we were talking about Alan filming a music video. I was referring to my music video house. Now, I had an amazing house. It was ridiculous. Now I have a modest home, and I'm much happier there. It brings much more peace. My old house felt like a hotel. This is perfect for me and my family, and it's the right balance. I don't need to chase money anymore. I mean, money's nice. But all it really does is let you pick your own kind of misery, especially if you become a slave to a dollar. Do I like having nice stuff and the ability to do things and go to a nice dinner? Sure. But I could cook dinner just as good at home. I love cooking. It's one of my passions and hobbies. I love spending time with my family. My kids are my world. So, like, going to wrestling practice and watching Pete roll around with my son, nothing compares to that. So you can't replace that with anything that money can buy or materialistic. And that health scare, and I'll call it what it is, this is my second chance on life, puts that in perspective really fast and hard.
The ghost of Billy, bro.
We
were laughing about it now. That was serious stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody was super scared. But sometimes I think in life, as we write this life book that we're doing, you know, I'm about to switch over to chapter 38 right now in my book. You know, God willing, I make it there next month. But we don't know when it's over.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, it's so important. Like, we talk about success. Everybody's view of success looks a lot different. But I was always very observant and, like, always kind of, like, taking it all in. And a lot of times, like, you'll see a nice vehicle and you'll see a nice house. But, you know, somebody with a family, I kind of think, like, well, how is everything in that house?
Yeah.
100%.
From the outside, it looks amazing. But is dad chasing the dollar and leaving his kids on the back burner? Is dad chasing the ladies and leaving his wife on the back burner? Like, how is it inside that house? You could have a really small 1-bedroom ranch filled with mad love. That, to me, is more success than the big old mansion that is filled with animosity, hatred, and like lack of love, you know, for that matter.
100%.
For sure. Yeah, everything is habitual. It's all about habits, though, you know, like the way you think. It's all about thinking patterns. And if you just like continuously make an effort to make a habit of thinking differently, thinking more optimistically, thinking, well, I have this and I'm not going to focus on other people. It's just a habit. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, and when you say that you have like negative thoughts sometimes, or you're trying to avoid like a negative spiral, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So-
I'm kind of planting that seed that every time I start thinking a little bit negatively, that it's going to be this tidal wave.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you can't just like close your eyes, take a few deep breaths on the first one, and kind of even visualize like a road closed sign. Like, no,
Yeah.
we're not going down that road today.
Well, you're kind
I
of
got all these
manifesting.
blessings right here in front of me that I need
Yeah.
to be grateful for.
And if you
Right.
focus on that negative shit, you're going to bring negative to you because it's already your tone and your outlook.
Yeah.
Now, at 23 years old, don't take offense to this, you're young. You haven't had to deal with the stressors of a wife,
Yeah.
kids. You know, I got a wife, I got 3 kids. Pete's got a wife, 3 kids.
Right.
We got the world of responsibility on us. You're just figuring it out.
Yeah.
You're just getting into life and acclimated and going. And you got a really good center and basis that I didn't have and Pete didn't have at 23.
And
Thank you.
it's more difficult now to be a 23-year-old than it ever was.
I agree with that.
It's just different. The world is different. The world is different now. I mean, that wasn't that long ago
There's
that
so
we were
much
his age. But you're
social
talking
media
15 years.
influence and-
Yeah, like that stuff barely existed.
Yeah.
Like I remember when Facebook first came out, you needed a college
College
email
ID,
address
yeah.
to even log in.
Yeah.
And then like a few years later, my mom sent me a friend request. I was like, oh, I guess
He's
that's
saying, yeah,
it
like
now.
he has any idea what that was
He
like
heard
then.
about it.
Yeah,
He heard about the
he's
history
read
books.
about it in the history book.
Yeah,
That's
you read
right.
about MySpace in the history books.
So like, what are some things you've overcome? Like, I mean, you've been making music, and I'm sure you've done well with that. And I mean, is that your passion? Is actually music, or
Yeah, 100%. It's my passion. It's really just my passion to influence and entertain people, and I'm just trying to collide the music world with the entertainment world.
I like
That's
it.
what I'm trying to do. But I mean, in terms of things I've overcome, I mean, this last year, I definitely have overcome a lot, and I'll get into how I got closer to my faith and everything like that. I actually came close to death 3 times this past year in 2023.
Wow,
And I could talk about 2 of them. I had a very severe peanut reaction, a peanut allergic reaction. I went to anaphylactic shock, and I wasn't breathing for a little bit, and I tried making a joke out of it. I tried putting the pictures of my face on social media, but you know, in all reality, it was one of the scariest times of my life. And so that happened last year. Then I almost drowned last year while surfing. Yeah, it was pretty hectic. My bodysuit got filled up with water, and I was about 50 pounds heavier than I usually am. And then I got my leash for my surfboard got trapped around the buoy rope, and I couldn't move. And then I came very close to passing away at that time as well.
Golly.
So and then I also moved to Texas last year. I was going down a dark road because I was involved in some things that I'm not going to talk about on this podcast. But I had a dream last year, and the dream was that Jesus was, and I don't know if I'm allowed to get as deep as I'm about
Go
to
as
get.
deep as
but-
you
you can go as deep as you want, bro.
but,
There's no rules here.
I had a dream that Jesus was talking to my father, and that he was saying, please make sure that your son keeps me as his God, and make sure that he stays loyal to me. And it was weird because like it was a dream that he was saying that to my father. And the next morning my father called me on the phone when I was in Texas, and my dad said, I just want to let you know, just please like stay faithful and stay close to Jesus. And I had the
I just got
chills.
the goosebumps.
Yeah, and it was the most crazy experience of my
Were
life.
you religious prior to that?
I was somewhat religious, you know.
But nothing
no,
over the top?
No, nothing over the top. And then after that, everything changed. And now that's my priority. It's just being faithful to Jesus, being the best man I can possibly be. And
Now,
everything has changed.
Amazing.
How
Yeah.
close time-wise did that happen or occur to any of those near-death experiences?
How many times has it
Or
happened?
no, how close? Like, was it a short time period since that happened?
Oh yeah, it was like all within like maybe 3 months.
Those are the best times to find solutions. We keep noticing on a weekly basis that when things get rough or you feel like rough, whether it's as extreme as a near death between the peanut allergy and the drowning, or something that you just say, hey, you know what? Now is the time. Like, I can't wait anymore. I don't like this feeling. I need something else. I feel like that's always the best time to.
Did you
to
have
come
any
in, so
like
that's great.
experience when you had any of that? Like for me, everybody kept asking me like if I saw a light or whatever. Like I was kind of dead, and I had nothing. I was out, and then I woke up, and that was it. I mean, for me, there was no like amazing moment while that was happening, but in the hospital, laying there, things get put in perspective. What's important, and God takes. You're very thankful at that moment when they're telling you were dead. And, my dad has major health issues at this point. So the first thing that I thought of when they told me I was out, and my first concern was, what position am I going to be in? Am I going to be in similar shape as my father? And when you realize that you have all your faculties and you're good, super thankful. First person you're going to talk to is God.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm incredibly religious.
Yeah.
I'm not. But I am amazingly thankful. I believe in a higher power. I'm grateful, and I talk to God on my terms.
That's great.
I don't have to go to church to have a conversation with God.
Yeah.
I have that conversation in my house. I have that conversation in my bathroom. I could have that conversation while I'm taking a walk.
Yeah.
But that's why I have those
It's the
conversations
greatest
now.
thing about that spiritual connection, man. It can be done from
m-
anywhere.
But it's mine.
Yeah.
My connection is different than yours and yours.
Yeah.
And it's how I want to handle it.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that experience, waking up fucking toasted out in IVs and in ICU, I'd never have that relationship today.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know a lot of people that aren't really religious or believe in God, but I promise you, when you're at rock bottom or you experience something, something similar to what you experienced, I promise the only thought in your head will be God, help me, save me.
Yeah.
And that's, unfortunately, people need to learn the hard way. And I mean, I needed to learn the hard way too. And I don't know about you, but yeah.
I learned everything the hard way. Everything. I am the guy that
Yeah,
has to
you
touch
have to.
fire to know it's hot.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I feel like I never do well when somebody else is telling me to do something. I would always kind of like mock those people that would kind of find a spiritual connection and try to like force feed everybody else to believe in what they believe in. It's like, well, you started that because you got into a rough spot. Like, you don't have to put that on me. I'm glad that you have it, but I feel like finding it within yourself is going to be the best way. Even like forced CCD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never felt like he was talking about feeling things. Like, I never felt much there. It was an obligation to go.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go every week. I played Pop Warner
had
on
to go, though,
Sundays,
yeah.
and it was Sunday, so I would miss a lot. I wouldn't really do the homework. I wouldn't really retain the information too much, or it was just like a forced thing that like my parents wanted me to do because they did it, and it was kind of passed down. Where I've had such a different experience now that I'm an adult and I've been open-minded to it and like searching and like looking for these things. It gives you a whole different like connection.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, where have you been, like, religion-wise when you were younger and now? Like, it's significantly more impactful now, the spirituality?
Yeah, I mean, I was raised Catholic, and I agree with a lot of the things that you just said, but I learned a lot. I'm just such a nerd in terms of history and religion, and I learned a lot of things, and due to that knowledge that I have now, I'm more so Christian, and I'm more so just focused on a relationship with God rather than religion itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't consider myself like religious. I just have a very deep, strong relationship with God.
That's great.
So, and
It's
and
your
that's what it is for
relationship
me.
on your terms.
Yeah.
No one, I can't tell you you're wrong. He can't tell you you're wrong. I mean, it's up to you
Yeah.
and how you manage it.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, like, down the road, I plan to use whatever platform I have left by the age of 50 and just use my influence to help people to find God, honestly.
Good.
Even though I'm trolling now and everything I'm doing now is completely blasphemous to some people. You can ask
I
my parents.
feel like you're setting us up so bad.
I promise you, I'm not here to troll. I
I'm
promise
busting
you.
your balls.
I know what I'm doing now is it's silly, but down the
It's gonna
road,
get you to where.
yeah, down the road, I'm going to use a platform I have to.
Yeah, but it's not silly. I mean, it's kind of like an art today, right? I mean, social media and especially like YouTube is nothing more than entertainment at this point. So, like, consider this a drama and you're doing a comedy. I mean, it's no different. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not silly. It's your form of expression now.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're going to be doing it when you're 38. I mean, when I was 23, I probably would have put some dumb shit out and had a
Yeah,
blast. I
right.
probably wouldn't have been as creative or successful as you.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
either
thank
way,
you.
no matter what he does and how it's going to go, it's probably all going to be around a similar realm. Like
Sure.
that's just like what is creating eyes on him now.
Today,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah,
mean. So
yeah,
like you
yeah.
fast forward that 15 years, like
you could be doing the same thing we
it
are.
could be
Right.
Yeah.
it could be endless. He's already got a podcast, but it could be endless. Like I'm almost envious, and I'm not a jealous person, but almost envious that you are so aware of where everyone is at. Like if you didn't know where everyone was, 2 million people wouldn't know who you are.
Right.
You know,
Right.
which is
Appreciate that.
great. You
Thank
know, and it's made that being 23 in this world really, really difficult. Like I was saying before, not as difficult because like you're like, hey, now I got to figure it out. It's almost like the tax strategies. You know, if you're a business owner and like some of the guys just know it and some of the guys don't. And it's like no knock on either one of them. No knock on the guy who's paying 35% on his annual income, and also no knock on the guy who just got a Range Rover and wrote it off as a loss in his business.
Right.
You know where everyone is at. You're going to be able to now navigate where you want to go. And if the end goal is almost like 20, I guess 25 years or so from now at 50 to have that God platform, you might be able to start that sooner than later because I'm noticing a big shift in young people finding their own spiritual connection, like I said, on your own.
Right.
I'm a big fan of Penn State wrestling, and they've been pretty much a dynasty for the last probably about 10 or 12 years in wrestling. And these kids get off the mat. They just won a national title. And the first thing they say is all glory to God. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to compete. And everything is God-driven first, and then it's about them.
Yeah.
Now, wrestling overall is a completely selfish sport, which has pissed me off over the years because I understand the selfishness, like you're out there by yourself, but we're now seeing these young people. These are college-age kids. These kids are these guys are right around your age. Some of them are redshirting. They're,
Right.
you know, 23 years old, just like you. You know, some of them redshirt a few times, get injured. They're in college for a few more years, 24, 25. And like I said, the first thing that they're saying in the interview is thank God. So you might be able to find a lane that you could, because people now more than ever have access to these answers, but I think people are seeking these answers now.
Yeah.
Where like maybe back in the day you go to the library and you try to find some answers where
Yeah.
you already have the following and the platform
Right.
that you could just say, hey, this is what I'm personally doing. And there could be somebody on the other end of that phone going, dang, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So that might be able to happen before 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
For sure.
I mean, it's something that I'm just like extremely passionate about. And I wanted to ask you guys, so like what is, like, obviously you've probably evolved from the time that you started this podcast, like mentally, right? And what is something that you're still trying to work on for yourself? And I'll start with you, and then I'll go to you.
I'm just trying to get more comfortable with expressing my feelings. Like, outside of briefly touching on what happened to me in June, that was the first time I've ever talked about it in any real intimacy or extended period. And that wasn't even a real deep conversation. But trying to express myself and manage my feelings and make it okay for me to be vulnerable, that's something I'm still trying to work on.
Okay.
I've gotten much more open and much more able to speak. And it wouldn't be without this outlet, wouldn't have happened. But
Yeah.
I need to get more vulnerable, 100%.
What do you think is holding you back from becoming more vulnerable?
I've always been guarded. I've always been taught, don't show weakness, never come from weakness, shove that shit back down. And I've always been that way, and I'm hoping to not always be that way and not raise my kids that way.
Yeah.
I think I'm making some levels of progress on that,
That's great.
Yeah, you're almost trying to rewire your subconscious, like Saidi was saying. But
tapping into that neuroplasticity.
yeah, but when I saw you at Certified in that situation that you were just in recently.
Yeah, the other day.
I personally observed it and thought you handled the situation much better than the way you described the younger
100%.
version of yourself.
Much better than when I handled it 8 months ago.
Yeah, but you handled it like a boss. But in that moment, while you were angry, you resorted back to what maybe you would have done. And as you voiced that out to Nate and I, we're both looking at you going, no, dude, that's how it should be handled. The other side of it is like you freak out, you know, you stoop into that person's level. And then before you know, who knows where that ends up? Maybe the cops end up coming that
You're
day.
right. And I'll elaborate a little bit. There was an altercation with somebody who, I'm very like, if we're going to have a confrontation and you want to bring it there, I'll match your energy every time. I don't care how it ends, but if you're getting disrespectful, I'm getting disrespectful. If you want to put your hands up, I'll put my hands up. How it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
There was an issue, and everybody kind of noticed I didn't put my hands up. I turned my head. I took a breath, and I knew what could be. I mellowed myself out, and I just let it go.
Exactly.
And
but that is personal growth for you, and that, I think, is
but
where you're
afterwards,
trying to get. Afterwards, you were still
questioned
heated.
myself.
Yeah.
Like, did I look like a bitch?
No.
Am I a bitch? And I
No.
even went as far to say, like, all this self-reflecting bullshit has made me fucking weak.
Yeah.
And then saying that, hearing myself say it, having Pete and my man Nate balance me out, made me realize, like, that didn't make me a bitch. It made me stronger than I was previously, because I would have acted on emotion. I would have acted in the moment. Instead, I found a little bit of balance.
Yeah.
Brought myself down, examined the situation, realized at 38 years old what is important and what is not.
Yeah, so what
And
you
like-
thought was a weakness, we all saw as a huge strength.
Yeah,
so I commend
so-
you for that.
It is.
But it goes back to, like I told you, when I hit you in your inbox on Instagram over that story, that's how I am. I'm very protective.
Yeah.
I'm more protective of you or you if we're together than I am myself. So like that moment, it might not even have been about me. It was a little bit about me, but the rest of the people in the building. So like how this guy's responding, do I need to de-escalate this? And I did need to de-escalate it. But initially I would have de-escalated it by like hitting somebody.
Yeah.
This time we de-escalated it by taking the emotion out of it for me.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to do that in my life.
I'm
And
just
if it
glad
wasn't
that
for
Nate and
this,
I were
it
there.
wouldn't happen.
I'm just
That's
glad
amazing.
that Nate and I were there to experience that. And
Yeah.
to hear you talk about how fiery you used to be as a younger individual, to see you handle that, to feel like you took an L, but we all saw a huge W, I think you should pat
If you
yourself on the
guys
back for
weren't
something
there,
like that.
I would feel still to this day like that was an L. 100%. But I see it as the victory it is now. So
Yeah.
I'm happy for that. Now, I didn't mean to hijack
Not
that
at all.
portion of the
No,
question.
Not at all. Not at
So
all.
go ahead,
Wait, also,
Pete.
I just want to
Yeah.
say, because I believe that being a man is being able to control yourself. It's all about
Yes.
self-control.
Yes.
So the fact that you were able to control yourself in that moment, that's more of a man than anything else.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm fully controlled. I'm far from it.
But you did so in that moment.
In that moment, yeah. And compared to where I was at your age, I have all of the control and composure compared to 23-year-old Billy. But in that moment, I still had to take a step back and find that composure and control.
I respect
sure.
that.
Thank you.
That's
Oh,
a
man.
win.
It is.
Yeah.
Don't
Exactly.
have any slither of doubt with that situation. It really is. And in every aspect, if you can control yourself, you're doing something extremely hard in that moment.
For
You
sure.
know? So if you're able to overcome that, then that says a lot
man
about you.
likes to sit there and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, as the personality I have, I will never sit there and feel like I'm going to be disrespected or anybody I care about is being disrespected.
Yeah.
And for me, it's very difficult to take that pause and reflect. But that day I was able to do it, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the conversations at this table, the techniques that I've taken away from this table that have made me who I am today. And what is this, episode 17?
Something like that.
And in 17 weeks, I see my growth. Forget about the growth from 20 to almost 40, because you're supposed to grow at that point.
Right.
And it should be a large amount of growth. Just in 17 weeks, that's my biggest episode of growth in my entire life, probably.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm pretty proud of it.
That's
But
awesome.
now, but in that moment, I saw it as a weakness.
Yeah.
But
I got it because it's something you've never done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not used to. You're not used to that.
Yeah.
I've never shied away from confrontation, and I don't think I did shy away from it. I just manage it differently.
Yeah.
And I'm good with it.
Yeah.
But I'm good with
for
it
you,
because
man.
of the people around me.
Good for you.
For sure.
Now, how about you? What is something?
So for me, over the course of the last 17 weeks, it's been an opportunity. I've been such a giver and helper. I've been coaching wrestling for almost 17 years. Selfishly, I've noticed that it's extremely rewarding. I was even finding ways to justify it being rewarding when I was leaving my house around dinner time, leaving my 3 kids and my wife at the house to go coach other people's kids. Now, when I was in those rooms and in those elements, it was very fulfilling, rewarding. You could literally help somebody. Like, it's amazing. I love it overall. The difference between my heart pulling me to help those kids and an opportunity to get on here is that I've been able to share my story, my journey, my daily habits, selfishly again, that I can help somebody else at a larger scale. Like, on average, we don't get too many views, but you're talking about 300 or so per week. Now, there's 50 kids on the wrestling team. So I was able to help 50 kids on a weekly basis for 3 months of wrestling season. We're here on a weekly basis. I have an opportunity to hopefully help a lot more people. But I was on a self-improvement journey over the course of the last basically year and a half. So I haven't really had one thing that I've necessarily learned here or done here that have, I say, oh, wow, you know what? That was the day that a light bulb went off, because my light bulb was forced to go off about a year and a half ago. So a lot of my friends were doing 75 hard at the time. And I created a daily checklist for myself, and I kind of called it 365 medium. And it was basically just my way of saying, hey, these are the non-negotiables that I'm going to do every single day to make sure that I'm the best version of myself on a daily basis. So I had to implement those a while ago. So I do feel way better now than I did a year and a half ago. And there's something about this 1 hour window per week that it is very fulfilling. It is very rewarding for me. And I'm glad that people are hitting Billy and I up. All the time. Like, it fills my tank. It's, if my body had a battery, that could show like our phone does, if I'm feeling like I'm at about 1%, and then Billy sends me a screenshot of somebody's life that was literally changed or saved, boom, I'm right back up to 100%.
That's awesome.
I'm feeling great. One thing that I have been kind of lacking on over the course of the last 17 months, and I know, or 17 weeks, and I know how huge it is sleep.
Yeah.
I
It's a
can't
constant
seem
battle.
to get where I need to be sleep-wise. I probably average about slightly less than 8 hours. But the last few nights I was up after 11, which is late. We had New Year's Eve. That was probably a week and a half ago. That happened to be a late night.
Yeah.
That's been something that's kind of been on the forefront. Like, I know that I need to own that. Like, Matt Rada was telling us that basically he can go a few hours, but human beings, like, we're supposed to get. It's part of our photosynthesis to live the life that we want to live.
Yeah, but I'm only getting on average like 4 hours of sleep still, based on the
they're
watch
more
and the
solid
sleep
than
score.
they were prior, right?
Everything has gotten noticeably better.
You got
Yeah,
more REM going.
And but a big part of that was the reishi.
Yeah.
The reishi helped me sleep.
Yeah.
And if my sleep score went from, I think it was averaging like 30 before the reishi up to in the 50s, I think my sleep improved from like 3 hours to 5 hours.
Solid.
But significant. But do you feel like you're still functioning pretty well? I mean, you get like a real 8 hours sleep? Because I would love to know what the fuck that's like.
You know what? Once I'm out, I'm out.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Abby wakes up with the kids all the time throughout the night.
You're
and
lucky.
I'm like, how
I just
Oh,
wake
how'd it
up.
go
My kids
last
don't
night?
wake up.
Like,
I just wake up.
yeah, I'm like, oh, what happened last night? Like, once I'm out, I'm out. It's like, the 3-2-1 rule was probably the biggest thing. I'm not going to say I haven't learned anything from this. I've learned so much, but there hasn't been anything that I've diligently implemented. And Dave Seidenberg, that we keep talking about, he's got a company called Inner Champ LLC. I've been slacking on the 3-2-1 rule. And
I
he's got
can't
this
do it.
3-2-1. And it's like no food 3 hours before bed, no work 2 hours before bed,
And the phone.
no phone and technology 1
Yeah.
hour before bed.
No screen time.
And the times that I have done that, I'm talking 9:30 bedtime, dude, out cold, waking up at 6:30,
That's awesome.
feeling good. The times that I don't, you know, and it's always like the three of them that I'm jacking up. Like I was saying, he has 3 Gs. Like I'm still grubbing at night. I'm still working at night, and I'm still either on my phone or
That 3-2-1
you know, have
rule is
something
one
else.
of the most difficult things that I've found to implement. And right now, mentally, there's no way that I could do it.
Yeah.
One thing I am is very self-aware of who I am,
Right.
and it's not changing. There's a couple different factors. My dad's health, I'll always be on the phone, just calling my mom to check on him before bed. I'm probably going to snack. Usually I have a little bit of peanut butter before bed with a Ritz cracker or
Don't even bring
something.
that anywhere near him, bro.
What?
Don't even say peanut butter around him.
Yeah,
could
I
you?
forgot the peanut
How
the nut
could
allergy.
you?
Well, it's interesting too because my nephew's got a nut allergy, which I didn't realize how terrible it is. And
Yeah, well, it's different for different people.
have you had it your whole life, or is
My
this
whole
like
life.
something that developed later?
Yeah, my whole life, and it's always changed. Like I used to be allergic to eggs, dairy, milk, like everything, and now it's just peanuts. And now I actually developed a fruit allergy to certain fruits I can't eat.
So you're the second person I've ever heard of that's allergic to eggs. Johnny Ryan's daughter is allergic to eggs. We had ice cream cake at the birthday for
Yeah.
Rosie's birthday. They stopped back at the house. Mayor's family came over, and Johnny's daughter Jada is allergic to eggs. I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah.
That's got. I mean, are you still allergic to eggs, or you outgrew it?
Luckily, not anymore. No, I eat about 5 eggs every morning. So
Solid.
yeah, not anymore.
You look like you're in pretty good shape too.
Thank
I
you.
mean, is
Thank
this? You said gym. I mean, what's your gym routine like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing like basic stuff. Like I just try to be consistent. It's very hard for me to put on weight, so I have to have I have a. It's about a 1,300 calorie shake every day, and that's just
What goes in it?
So it's a mass gainer shake, and it itself is about 1,200 calories. And then I put like oats and bananas and sun butter and a whole bunch of stuff.
Damn.
And that's so that I can attain my weight and put on more, hopefully. So yeah,
What kind of shake is it?
it's called a mass gainer shake. It's for people who want to put on
That's
mass.
incredible.
Yeah. Because I've been skinny my whole life, and
It seems like you're swole now, though. How much do you weigh?
I'm about 180 now.
All right, that's
yeah,
what I was thinking.
made a
That's
lot of
about what I
progress.
Have you tried TRT?
No.
That was me trolling you a little bit.
Billy's got
okay.
it on his radar. That's why he's asking.
I got it on
okay.
my radar.
No,
It
yeah.
might be coming soon.
I got you. No, my T levels are definitely
I
up
think
there.
you're too young for it.
Yeah.
Me, I'm old. I qualified just on my date of birth, so we're good. I might start exploring that, mostly because they say it improves your sleep. That's my biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that appeals to me is the sleep improvement, because the improvement from the reishi, I realized how much I need better sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have a goal weight that you're trying to get to, or?
I'm trying to get to like 195. I don't know if I'm capable of doing so given my frame and given my height and everything like that, but if I could get to 195, that'd be amazing.
I would love
This guy's
to be
trying to
one-
watch Swellovision right
I'd love
now.
to be
Trying
195
to get
too.
swolled up.
Yeah.
Hovering over there at like 208. Not pumped about it.
No, I got you.
Yeah, I have a Swifty bracelet that says Shred Life. I'm about to Shred Life. Something does keep kind of pulling me a little bit into just getting swole.
You should do
But
it.
I know that it's definitely wrestling. You have to diet and lose weight. Like where if you're trying to get swole, like you got to eat when you're not even hungry.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be consistent,
Yeah.
like you said,
Yeah.
and like you got to be dialed in with that stuff. Like I don't know if I got time for that.
Yeah, it's
You know
a
what I mean?
full-time
It's
job.
a full commitment.
It really is. I had to
know?
cut back
Gotta
on the
lift
zins
heavy.
too.
Yeah.
Because like I'm not hungry if
It
I'm
does give you
zinning.
appetite,
No.
What is this in?
It's
Oh,
a nicotine
boy.
pouch.
Oh, I didn't- so it's like
we should put them onto zins right
but
now.
it's like they have energy ones too, right? Is that a thing, or am I
Do
making
you watch
this up?
Tucker Carlson?
A little bit, yeah.
Because he's about it.
Yeah, he's about it. He's
He,
fully about
I'm
it.
pretty sure that their business probably quadrupled since he went
Because
out
of
there
Tucker
and talked about
Carlson.
it. But
Yeah. All
They
right.
do.
So maybe that's what I was
They do.
talking about.
Yeah.
So
you,
now-
you should try one right now, actually.
I'm good. No interest.
No wins.
Yeah,
Zimbabwe's-
I honestly don't trust you. I feel like I'm gonna get trolled.
Oh, I
Zimbabwe's-
promise you. I have
No,
one
no,
in
no.
right now. I just popped one right now.
Cool. It's cool.
All right,
Maybe
Zin,
not on camera.
Zin, I hate to say it, but it is the best drug. And here's the thing about Zin. nicotine delivery devices are what's bad for you. It's the tar, it's the smoking, it's the vaping. But nicotine itself is not bad for you. Nicotine is a nootropic. It increases focus. It increases testosterone. And in a Zyn, it's like 97% nicotine and 3% salt. And that's why I like it. It's just a clean buzz off of
Can we talk about
nicotine.
the benefits I've recently found out about salt?
Oh, yeah.
So that thing you're drinking now, I gave you that packet.
Oh, yeah.
1,000 milligrams of sodium in it. Now, I was told sodium is always
We
taught
were.
your mortal enemy.
Yeah.
I'm at the gym yesterday. Zach Bohm, the kinetic Cairo, we're working, and he says, I want you to take a bunch of these home, try them. I look at the package, and I almost fell over when it said 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Now, my dad has congestive heart failure, so like I'm real in tune to what his sodium intake should be. And I said, Zach, this is more than my father's allowed to take in one day. You want me to put in a water bottle? And he's like, your body needs way more sodium and salt than they tell you is good for you. He said, your body craves it.
Yeah.
And I never knew that. I mean,
Don't they say like Himalayan sea salt is way
Sure,
better?
yeah.
Do you
Sure.
get down with that? Because I don't have it.
Not as much.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
not as
that's
much.
what do you think of this drink?
It's great.
yeah.
It
I
tastes
mean-
kind of rough.
I'm fine with the taste. No, it
No, it
reminds me of like a
tastes
liquid
good.
IV
Salty,
or
man.
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's kind of what it is, right? Just maybe a different brand. Liquid IV is a brand, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend
Yeah.
runs all the time, and he dropped a bunch of those off at my office, and they're really good, especially like after workouts. Is that when Zach told you to have it?
He said just make sure I take it, period.
Yeah.
He thinks it'll help me with recovery. I have
Yeah,
a lot of
see that.
injuries that didn't heal properly over time.
Yeah.
And he thinks it might be beneficial for me. So we're going to see. This was day 2 of having 1,000 milligram sodium drink.
Dude, thanks for having me at Leaks last week, by the way.
Bro, it was a great
That was
day.
awesome. I haven't benched in years, dude. That was great to just
Right.
be under there.
Couldn't have
It was
guessed
great
that
just to be
when
under
you were
there,
sitting there
dude.
banging them
I
out.
was just hyped, bro.
But flip side to that, you're a push-up monster. So
right.
I mean,
So
it's
it
not
kinda
like
goes hand in hand, I
Yeah,
guess.
I didn't expect you to get on the bench and not perform.
I have a whack chest. I've always had like a bird's chest.
Yeah, except
like,
you could bang out like 500 push-ups like it's nothing.
Can you? How many push-ups can you do?
like consecutive in a row
Yeah.
without stopping
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Maybe like 75.
Okay.
If I had to take some breaks, I don't know. When I was
That's
younger, I could do
impressive.
more, but I would probably say if I had to do it,
Yeah.
I would probably say anywhere from like 65 to 75.
Pizza beast.
How about you? Can you get a hundo?
I hit last Christmas. I hit 200. So every Christmas,
200
In a
row?
shot?
we were able
With
to
no
take
break?
We're able to take a break as long as we're in the push-up position.
Oh, dude, we might have to have a push-up
So
off over
every
here.
Christmas, my brother and I, we have a push-up competition. Last Christmas, he hit 300. I hit 200.
And then you're kind of just taking breaks like in the push-up position.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
even a break, dog.
yeah, it's pretty tough.
Can you hit your knees?
No,
Dude, that ain't a break.
but
That's a plank, bro.
this Christmas we were trying to find another set of brothers to verse us instead of going against each other. But no one wanted to.
With numbers like that, I would want no part of it either.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's impressive.
I got somebody for you.
Nate.
My man Nate do all the push-ups.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's his quote. You ask him, how many push-ups can you do? As many as I want.
Mm-hmm.
No, really, how many? All of them.
All of them.
We
was it,
finished at
225?
225. And of course, Pete, now we did 5 sets though. So, and then we did a burnout after 225
Yeah.
too. So
Were you repping 225?
Pete, I banged out 225 4 times or 3. I don't remember. Pete had to get 2 or 3 more than me, so he went for 6. And then we finished with 15 at
It was like 185 or
yeah.
something, or 165.
The kid, I tell you now, didn't look like he was shitty at benching.
No, dude, that was actually a really hilarious day. So I forgot what was going on in my life between like work and everything
Just
else.
hectic, chaos.
But I don't know if I called you. I think I called you.
You hit me up. You were at the doctor with Rowan.
Oh gosh. So I had to take my daughter in for what was possibly pink eye, but she's only like 2.5 years old. So I'm sitting there in the doctor's office. She's bugging in the waiting room. Then we walk in. The lady goes to put her on the scale. She's bugging to get on the scale. Then I bring her into the room. She's sitting on my lap. She's freaking out. She peed through her diaper. I had no diaper, so there's pee all over my lap. They're trying to get the blood test to check her heart rate or whatever it may be. I'm like, her heart's fine. Just check her eye. So she's not having that. Finally, after probably an hour at the doctor's office, we got out. I brought Rowan back home, And I just called Billy, and I'm like, dude, I got so overwhelmed at the doctor's office. Like, oh my God, I'm
And it was
freaking
like
out.
perfect timing.
It was
'cause I
perfect
getting
timing.
ready,
He's
yeah.
like, dude, you're fine. He's like, why don't you meet me at Leaks? I was like, oh, I don't know. I got some work stuff to do. Yep, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna meet you there. You know, so but like, you know, the fitness aspect and like the working out, like that changed my whole day. Like I was, you know,
It's an
I was
outlet.
flustered.
Yeah, but it's
I
an
was-
outlet
yeah.
to relieve some of that negative energy.
Yeah,
and I
was
mean, you got
flustered,
in
I was
there and you
overwhelmed,
banged it out.
And I got there and literally just walking. Even when I parked and I saw your
Yeah.
vehicles out there, I got in. I was feeling good. And then once I got in there with you guys, dude, I just felt so good.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just took that momentum into the rest of the day, and we were all good. But I am very self-aware at what makes me tick. I don't like to force feed my habits on other people. Hey, listen, you do you. But for me, I know that like part of my day, like I feel at my best when I get sweaty. And if I don't get a good sweat, or if I don't at least go for a walk or do anything that kind of involves working out, push-ups, anything else like that, I don't like the way I feel.
Yeah, 100%. I've learned that I have such high expectations of myself and such big standards for myself that it's not always sustainable to do all these things every day. And I come to a point where you need to be able to perform as a man and do your things every day, regardless if you hit that mark or not. You know, and it's just something that you need to be comfortable with. You need to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. That's just something. It might be a hard pill to swallow, but for sure, I don't think we should avoid stress or avoid anything that could like set us off. We need to be capable
No,
of
you have to embrace
handling.
it.
Yeah, when you avoid it, I've been there. When you avoid like the tough topics or the tough things, whatever they may be, that it makes everything way worse. Because just accomplishing that task, having a tough conversation, just doing whatever you needed to do that was bothering you, if you don't do it today, it's going to linger into tonight. It's going to linger into
And it's
tomorrow.
only getting worse. It's
It's
like a
only
snowball.
getting worse as you go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What is one emotion? Like, if you had to choose your emotion for the day, what would that be? If you could wake up and you're like, you could just set it, like, you have a menu of emotions.
All right, if I could choose one emotion, I'd choose to be happy. Unfortunately, I'm very unemotional. The way I was brought up, express no emotion, show no weakness, never come from weakness.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at. Me and my brother are built the same. We both are the same. I wish I could wake up with a permanent smile on my face like Pete. Whether it's real or it's fake, I wish I could smile. But we've discussed it here. You see all the pictures of me and my family. I love my family. I'm the happiest when I'm with them, no matter what.
Right.
I don't smile in pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know how to smile. Like, I
Same.
can laugh and smile.
Same.
Bro, you're smiling right now. All you do is smile. I seen your shit on Instagram.
Let me get them pearly whites, too.
All you
better
do
let
is
them out.
smile. But
I get what you mean. That's what I'm saying.
no, I get it. I'm not emotional.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Very cut and dry. I wish I could express my happiness better, but I was always taught emotion makes you weak.
Yeah.
And that's I'm not saying anything about how I was raised. I was raised amazing. I have two amazing parents. I love my mother. I love my father. But it was my dad being in business for himself, that old school mentality.
Yeah.
You know, him being in business for himself taught him never come from weakness. Never let anybody know what you're thinking. If you let people know you're mad, you'll never get a chance to get even. My dad's always given me little one-liners like that. And it's made me the man I am today. And I'm not going to say I'm emotionless, but I'm very stoic.
That's good.
And you kind of get a permanent poker face from me, which I wish I didn't have.
Sure.
So I am very way up or way down. And I said to somebody recently, I wish I was just medium. I wish I was just neutral.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to fight who I am at the core. My gut has been leading me through life, and I love that. So I was always the emotional guy. And, you know, I would get maybe made fun of or whatever. People used to always ask me, why do you smile all the time? Well, sometimes I smile because I'm nervous. Sometimes I smile because I'm happy. Sometimes I smile because, I don't know. It's just like,
Sometimes I smile because I don't
why
want to
would
cry.
you knock someone who's smiling? Like, you know, it's nice. You make somebody else feel good.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed about not being just neutral is I get to feel everything that life has. And part of my daily prayer is I thank God for the highs and the lows. I thank him for the challenges he's put my way to giving me the strength and courage to know that I could overcome them. But what I would want to feel on the daily, if I had to choose one emotion, how would you call being present an emotion? because that's where I
In
would
the
like to
moment.
be. I would like to
Dialed,
be
engaged.
Yeah, I would just like to be dialed on where I'm at. If it's good, stay there. If it's bad, stay there. This is where you are. Because I could be in a really good moment around my family, feeling all this love and joy, and I'm sitting on the couch and everything's cool, but in my mind I'm like, oh, so and so didn't close yet. I wonder if that's gonna close on time. I wonder if this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. And like they say, like what, 90% of the things you worry about don't even come true.
Yeah.
So I wish I could just stay a little bit more singular focused and dialed in on what's gonna happen right now, especially as a dad, because I have a huge awareness of like, hey dude, these kids are only kids for a few years. Like it's not always gonna be like this. But when I'm feeling life so much and the volume level at my house is through the roof and I have 3 different kids asking me the same thing at the same exact time, like, my head is spinning, but like, just be like, dude, it's gonna be like, just embrace this.
Yeah,
As crazy as it is, embrace it. When I dropped the kids off at daycare today, I watched them walk down the hall with their backpack. And in that moment, I was just there. I wasn't in my phone. I wasn't thinking about loans that aren't closing or appraisals or home inspections, or I wasn't thinking
Nothing
about any of
mattered.
that shit. I just watched them walk down the hall to the point that the teacher must have like felt my presence from like the door, because she kind of like looked back to make sure I was okay, and I was just there smiling. But I just watched them walk down the hall, and I thought to myself,
You were
like,
in the
dang,
moment.
dude, they're not going to be this size forever. So stay here. If it's crazy, stay here. If it's wonderful, stay there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but do you think it's even plausible to sit and have a moment? Obviously, you could sit and have an extended period where you're clear-headed and nothing's affecting you, but you're always going to get an email, you're always going to get a text message, a thought's going to cross your mind about something from work. I don't think you need to eliminate that. I think maybe we could manage those situations better and how they control our feelings.
I guess manage it.
but-
Like, okay, so if I'm sitting on the couch and I am in the present, I can't have my phone around me, because if my phone is around me, I get a lot of opportunities because of my heart and soul, and that keeps my phone ringing, but it also gives me anxiety. So if I'm sitting there in the present and my phone's in my pocket, then maybe I could worry about the possibilities going on. But if I sit there in the present and now I get notifications that people are looking for certain answers and they need me, now I'm feeling like I'm torn between 2 places at the same exact time. So,
All right,
you know,
well,
but yeah.
But let's focus on the fact that you find a really good balance. I mean, let's not make
Looks
it
could be
like
deceiving.
No. Listen, looks could be deceiving, but I know that you go to wrestling, you put your phone down. I know you go to football practice, you put your phone down. I know that you're an amazing dad, and your children are your number one priority. So I just want to make that clear to you guys that are in here and everybody watching. Pete has found the balance and blessings that I cannot, because when I'm at wrestling practice on Thursday nights and Monday nights rolling around with Coach Lou at Predator, I got to check my phone every time we have a break. When I'm at football practice, my phone is in my pocket. That thing rings, I'm answering it. Scott yells at me all the time.
Yeah.
At least you're mindful enough to take that breather. So don't make it like you're, an unattentive father or your priorities are not there.
There's just times that I could be way more dialed in on the blessings around me, and I'm scrolling or
For the most
whatever
part,
it may be.
You're
know
pretty
what I mean?
you're pretty
Yeah.
dialed in though.
No, I
kid.
appreciate that.
Just
I appreciate that.
letting
But,
everybody know.
that was an amazing question, and if I could be if I could see myself in the lens that other people see me in, I would do a lot more good for myself. If I could have a little bit more, whether it's confidence or,
You've
just-
always needed a kick in the ass to realize how confident you should be in yourself. Now,
and I'm still there.
but at 23, you might not get this. But when you're older, you will. The people around you are either going to put you on a pedestal or they're going to bring you down. And who you surround yourself with is who you're going to become. So, like, when I met Pete, Pete was and he still is, very humble and very modest. But he's like, in this town, he is the youth sports king. There's not a person that doesn't know Pete. In the wrestling world, he's vastly respected. He is Pete Riley. And when we first linked up, I'm sure you thought I was blowing a lot of smoke up your ass. But I always had to remind him how amazing what he was doing was and how great he was at it. And today, hopefully, you've embraced it a little bit more than you did previously, but you're very slow to take the acknowledgments and the credit, where me, there's not a ton of acknowledgments and credit to give me, but I'm cool. I'm not going to dispute you if you tell me I'm doing great.
Yeah.
But you're always like, nah, it's just me, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I'm really good at like building other people up and making everybody else's day, and I'm not so good at reassuring that I'm doing just fine.
And what about you? What do you see what's the one emotion that you would choose?
It's honestly a combination of both. What you just said, I don't choose happiness. I think people should not try to be happy when they wake up. I think being emotionally neutral is important. Being stoked is important. But I think if you just wake up disciplined and you do the things regardless of how you feel, you actually will be happiness. You will be happy by extension. So that's all I'm focused on, is just being disciplined and being emotionally neutral, really. So, yeah, I mean, I think stoicism, like you said, is good. You could use it for good. And same for you. I think looking to be neutral is also good for you. And what were you just saying? You said something like you're trying to...
Be more present.
Yeah, being more present is definitely... I have a whole another theory that I'll talk about in a little bit. But I'm trying to remember. You said something else just now.
Kind of being like too critical of myself, building other people up.
Yeah.
and not
So
necessarily-
what I'm getting from you is, are you a people pleaser?
Yeah, 100%.
Very much.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
wanted to
it's
say.
tough.
So, yeah, so that's also huge.
I've gotten way better at it though, because I've been aware, like, oh, some people just kind of need me
For them.
for them. Yeah, I don't necessarily need to go do that. Like when
Yeah.
I was telling you guys that my plate was full, that was the people pleasing part. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, my plate's
Right.
full, but okay,
Right.
you asked for some help?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you asked for some help? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
He
And then
can't
what
say
happens
no.
with that is
Right.
that when you need help, you're like, yo, where's everybody at?
Yeah.
I was running around, like I told
Yeah.
you, I was overwhelmed as hell, and I still found time for you.
Yeah.
Like, why weren't you
Yeah.
making time for me?
Right. You
know?
can't be
But
afraid
yeah,
to be
people pleasing's
selfish.
Fucking whack.
You
Nah,
can't be
you're
afraid.
100% right,
it's
bro.
true.
But
Yeah.
it took me till I was 38 to realize it,
Mm-hmm.
because I have helped as many people as I can. If you call me and you need help, I'm trying.
Yeah.
But I know now when I pick up that phone,
So that story you put up.
bro, a lot of
Yeah.
motherfuckers aren't answering.
Yeah, I appreciate
And I
that.
get it, but I wish I knew that at 23.
But yeah, also though, I would say that, that may not be the best way to go. I appreciate you being there for me, but at the same time, what if I was like, yo, like, yeah, I need you here, and
I'm
it's,
in.
but
but that's what's fucked up about me.
But that's not
I'm
great.
always fucking, no, that's what I said. It's always fucked up. I'm always fucking in.
Yeah.
But now I'm realizing today that I can't expect the same level of energy from everybody else. Just because
No.
I'm acting
Yeah.
from my heart and my passions, I have to know that there's a chance that if I needed something, and like I posted something on Instagram and you saw it and you didn't reach out, or I called you and you were like, nah, I can't come help you tie your shoes, or whatever dumb shit it is.
Yeah.
I can't hold that against you. And I have to expect that from you off the rip.
Right.
So now I'm still willing to do what I can for people within reason.
yeah,
But I also know that there is a good chance I will never speak to them again,
Yeah.
that they will never appreciate it, and I am going to be the bad guy in the end ultimately.
That's why I like that quote. You can't expect the you from somebody else.
Correct.
Like, all because you would show up.
Yeah.
And then because that would get you kind of thinking, and I've been there where it's like, oh, well, I would totally drop everything
Yeah.
I'm doing for this person. It's like, okay, you would.
That's
that
you.
doesn't mean everybody would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the people pleasing realm, is definitely something that I've gotten a little bit better. I've been selfishly, in a good way, taking time for myself to know that I can ultimately help more people as long as I help myself. So I have come a long way in that sense.
that's good.
Yeah.
It's a very hard thing to do because
It
I
is.
was always a people pleaser.
Are you?
Yeah, for a long time.
That surprises me with the lane that you've chose and the route that you're going. So did you have a lot of, things that happen along the way that you said, hey, I got to switch something up? I mean, helping
Yeah.
everybody else ain't helping me.
Yeah, sort of.
You
I
know?
mean, like it would. I think like who you are, it always comes up. It always comes to a head. And I think even like in relationships in the past, like I've put other people first. I put so many people first, and it just comes to a point where you need to understand that you're not being selfish. You're just prioritizing what matters most to you. And yeah, it definitely takes a lot. People may think you're selfish. Like right now, like there's a lot of people that think I'm selfish. I tell people no all the time, but it's all about sacrifices.
Yeah.
It's all an investment towards yourself, and you just have to look at the big picture
Yeah.
and understand that.
Yeah, we were talking about success earlier, and it looks different for everybody else, but a big part of being successful is saying the word no.
Yeah.
And when I was in the hospital, I basically had like a hall pass to say no for like 2 weeks, and it was wonderful. I was like, oh my God, I have so much more time on my hands. Like I feel so good right now. And you know, I started talking to a lot of different people that have gone through different things, and you know, my friend Stephanie Cunliffe has said like, yeah, dude, you got to say no. Like it doesn't fit, you know. And they talk about success in sports a lot of times too, and there's like this wrestling mindset group, and one of the kids they were interviewing is like a multiple-time national champ, Yanni. He goes to Cornell, and he said, you know, I missed the prom. You know, I missed the parties. I missed, you know, graduations for tournaments. Like you have to say no to a lot of different things to get to where you need to be. You can't say yes to every single thing and expect to find your own personal success along the way. I've tried. It doesn't work.
That comes back to what he said,
I commend you
though.
for that. I commend you for that.
That emotion he'd choose was dedication.
Yeah.
He'd want to be neutral and dedicated, and that'll
And
bring you happiness.
anybody who takes that to heart, dude, they're going through their own problems.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because you're on your path.
I know.
We're all on our own path. We're all on our journey. If it doesn't fit your realm to go out and, you know, hang with your boys at freaking Chapter House up the street, then, you know, it doesn't fit the realm. And, like, if you can't get down with that on my journey, then sorry. And sometimes those people are loved ones. Like, they love us. They have the best intentions, but they don't see what you see.
Yeah.
They might not even see within you what you see.
Yeah.
They might have limited beliefs in you because they might still be thinking about you as the third grader that was like picking their nose or got a D in school.
Right.
You know, they could be looking at you from that lens and you're like, nah, that used to be me. That ain't me now.
Yeah.
I'm too disciplined now.
Yeah.
I've been at this for too long.
Yeah.
I got too much compound success interest building up on the daily basis that I'm doing every single day that if what you're inviting me to doesn't fit that realm, hey, I'm sorry. I still love you, but I'm on my path.
Yeah.
That saying yes to whatever you're asking me to, and I have the confidence to say no, that no is going to lead me to exactly where I need to be.
Yeah. It's nothing personal towards those people
No, it's
either.
not personal at all.
You know, like I love my routine. I tell people all the time, I love my space. I love my work. And for me to break that or alter that is going to take a lot, you know. And
now, do you find with your recent success with the YouTube views and TikTok and all that, that a lot of people have begun to emerge and come out of the woodwork looking to align themselves with you for their benefit?
100%, yeah.
And you're able to see through that a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been in this space. I mean, I've been doing what I'm doing now. I've been doing it for a very long time. So I have a very a strong ability to tell who's genuine and who's not. So yeah, definitely 100%, you know, and you just have to prioritize yourself. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, you'll be able to tell who's genuine and who's not. So I want to just cover all the things. So when you guys wake up and everything like that, are you doing gratitude or are you doing anything
I am not.
like that? Okay.
I wake up, start my morning by checking my phone. I go to each one of my kids' bedrooms. I watch them while they're still asleep because I'm not going to see them when they wake up. Yeah. I generally start my morning at 5:30. I go down. If it's cold, I remote start my truck. I get in the shower. I shave, whatever, and I finish with a cold minute at the end of the shower.
Okay.
And then I start my day. I go to work. I now, part of my morning routine is now that Magic Mind stuff that Matt Rega put us onto. And, you know, I go about taking the day as it comes from there. But the most important thing to me, for my peace in the morning, is seeing my children before I leave. Whether they're asleep or not, there's just something calming in it. I know I'm not going to see them, but I also call every morning. I FaceTime at 7:30 to see them before they get up and before they leave the house to go to school and start their day.
It's amazing.
Yeah, my morning routine when I'm at my best and have my best days are dialed in with some journaling, some gratitude, some prayer, some working out, some cold exposure.
Okay.
When I wake up on reaction mode, I'll wake up on reaction mode. My kids don't really feel the ripple down of my energy, but I certainly feel it.
Yeah.
And then I get them through everything that needs to be done. And then I'll find the moment for myself. It's still technically morning. It's just not when I first wake up.
Okay. How do you feel after you journal?
The journaling feels really nice.
Yeah.
It feels really, really nice to kind of get it out there. I think because when I worry about certain things and it creates that tidal wave, if I could journal some of these things that are going on in my mind and I could see them, I kind of see it from a higher macro view, and I'm like, oh, that's not that bad at all. And I actually found a solution to that as I just wrote it down. So that to me, has been something that it's definitely made things easier.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know before we were talking about small wins, and I just find that so important. Before we were saying how the best way to like build momentum in the morning is to use small wins, and if that's journaling, if that's praying, anything like that. And I just found that so powerful, because when you do small wins like that, you build trust in yourself. If you do like 5 small things, you're like, wow, like I know I'm capable of doing those things, and I can trust myself to keep doing these things throughout the day. So I definitely try to, like with my 3 Gs, I consider that like 5 small things. And then, like if you could just continue to build trust in yourself, then you'll have that confidence that you're striving to feel every day. And it's just a snowball effect. And then instead of having good days, bad days, you'll have those neutral days where you're performing regardless of how you feel.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I still do perform on those bad days. It's more my self-talk. I think the people-pleasing element, everybody else around me still feels fine, and I still look like I'm fine, but I'm not necessarily where I need to be until, like, okay, the whole day went by. All right, I got my workout in. Now I feel good. Or the plunge was a little later in the day. The gratitude was later in the day. It's like, now I feel good.
But at least
I should have done this earlier.
At least you could find something that brings you back down.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Now,
and I'm glad that the things that you're talking about aren't substances that are making you feel good either. Because that same downward spiral, the same snowball effect of positivity that you're talking about can create just as much momentum in a downward direction.
Sure.
Yeah,
I could see that.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, so now you're coping with some things that are bothering you, or
especially
you're
at
not
such a
doing
young
certain
age,
thing, and it's
too.
boom, 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 boom. That thing keeps growing, where now you're kind of taking all that positivity and you're building that thing with good momentum, opposed to going down the other road, which I have been down that road as well. And, that road is freaking lonely as hell and sucks.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think at 23 years old you've gotten, I'm not going to say light years ahead of your peers as far as maturity and self-awareness, but, I mean, it would seem, I don't know a lot of 23-year-olds, that you're a little bit more advanced in finding yourself.
Yeah, I mean...
What do you attribute that to?
It's a very good question. I mean, I think that based on the way I was raised and based on my faith, it has given me the convenient ability to be so self-aware. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, no one has sit down with me and told me to be self-aware or anything like that. But yeah, I would just say, like, my parents are, the best parents ever. My brothers also really they had a huge part in raising me, and they've also...
Younger or older brothers?
Older. And they're 2 very stoic, strong men, and they've raised me to be, that as well. But I don't know. I think I just have like a very strong passion to constantly improve. Like, my biggest fear is not living up to my expectations, or, passing away, honestly, before I'm able to complete all my goals.
I love that.
So I just think that if, I have that fear deep inside of me, so it comes out in drive, it comes out in passion. And, people like my friends over here, they ask me like, oh, are you on Adderall or something like that? But it's really just like a mixture of like drive and passion and testosterone. And I just have like, I guess, what I feel is like a perfect formula for doing what I'm doing.
So what you're saying is I need to start TRT.
Basically, yeah.
Billy's just looking for any
I'm looking for excuses. I mean, outside looking in,
Yeah.
it seems like you got it all going on.
Thank
You've
you.
got it going pretty well, and I wish you nothing but the utmost success and fine-tuning everything and getting there. I mean, I'm sure ultimately you'll be super successful in one way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
But what are, like, in the next 5 years, what are your goals?
Yeah, it's a good question. Basically, I want to keep riding this wave that we're on right now for as long as possible. And eventually, I want to use these interactions that I have with these artists to really make actual music, make real music, not just jokes. And I see myself like making music that's going to be put out there, like on all streaming platforms, and I want to document it like in an interview. Like I want to sit down with a big artist, just like how we are right now, and make a song. And like that is my passion, is to combine music with entertainment and podcasts, and to put that music out there. And then also, just like I said before, like to use my influence and my ability to speak to people just to help people, you know, whether it's like things like this or whether it's like helping people to get closer with their faith.
Dude, you should make up some faith-based bangers.
Yeah,
You
I
should go
probably
down
could.
that road
I
where
probably
now you
could.
just got
Yeah.
like people are feeling good.
Yeah.
God's by our side.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We're on a self-improvement journey.
Yeah,
Like there,
like,
I don't think there's
it's-
songs like that exist.
Yeah.
There has to be.
There might be, but maybe he could put them on the map.
I mean, yeah, like even self-improvement wise too. Like
Yeah.
I want to use my platform to do stuff like that too,
Yes,
and just
that would be great.
to influence men to be men again.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we're lacking that nowadays,
Definitely.
and
I don't disagree with
people
that.
don't want to work. People don't want to try even. And
A lot
so,
of people don't shoot their shot.
Big
Yeah,
fear.
I want to save people.
Brings me to this question. Tell us about how you shot your shot with Post Malone. We talked about it
That's a
earlier.
good
You said you were
question.
going to mention it.
I'll
I
mention
gotta
it.
hear.
Yeah, I'll mention it. So, I for years, since I'm 17 years old, I would go to concerts and I'd like sneak backstage and try to meet these artists that were performing, whether it was before or after their performance, and I would do so that I can give them like a thumb drive of all my beats, because like the idea of like, let's say 21 Savage, you know, putting in that thumb drive in his computer and loading up a beat and using my beat, that was like everything to me. So I would do that time and time again, and then eventually a lot of people knew I was doing this, a lot of producers. So they would say, oh, can you put some of my beats on there too? And I'd be like, all right. And I eventually started charging these other producers to have me give a celebrity artist their beats. You know, because that's like a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? So I was doing that, and then eventually I was like, I want to go big. Like I want to go and try to find my most favorite artist, and that was Post Malone. It still is my favorite artist. So I went to LA, and I made like you know, like a Cuban link, like iced out chain.
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it?
I saw it.
Okay, so yeah, so the chain was a cigarette box. It was a Camel Crush cigarette box, completely iced out, and on the back of it was a QR code that if he scanned it, he would have access to all my beats and all of these other producers' beats.
Yeah.
And I did that because
It was actually really creative.
That's
Like I
sick.
got it. That's
Thank
why
you.
I wanted him to talk about it, because I mean we could talk about everything else, but like that's pretty cool. The kid
Yeah,
shot.
that's awesome.
He took his shot and
Right.
he went for it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, so I did that because he smokes Camel Crush cigarettes, and I was planning to. He had a meet and greet. I paid for the meet and greet. It's like $3,500. So I planned to meet him and give him the chain and document it so that I can tell all these producers, hey, all those beats that you submitted to me and paid for. I had like maybe 50 people or 55 people, I think it was, that submitted their beats for like $50 each, and I was going to prove to them that I gave it to Post Malone, mission complete. Turns out the meet and greet got canceled because he came late. So after the show, I'm like, I'm making this happen no matter what. So there was like security guards there. I'm trying to bribe every security guard like $500. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's budging. So eventually I just hop over the gate that was dividing the fans and Post Malone basically. And I was running to Post Malone. I couldn't get to Post Malone, but I ran into that guy, Tyler Yahweh. He's like Post Malone's right-hand man. Like he brings this guy on stage and he like promotes him and everything like that. And I got to Tyler Yahweh and I gave it to Tyler, and I got a video of him, and I'm like, yo, you need to give this to Post Malone. Like, please promise me. He's like, I promise you, this is a dope idea. And I only had like 5 seconds before I got completely escorted out and kicked out. But yeah, and I was ecstatic. I was so happy because I still consider that a successful mission.
Right, it's a
That's
win.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's a win.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
thank you.
You were creative with your idea. You executed.
Yeah.
Well, you tried to execute. You faced some adversity. You figured out a way to execute anyway.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Way to go,
Thank
man.
you.
Way to
That's
go.
awesome. Dude,
Yeah,
well, thank you
appreciate
so
that.
much for your time
Yeah,
today, man.
of
You
course.
are a huge inspiration, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Especially for a young buck to be out here,
Thank you, bro.
getting on planes.
Maybe we'll get on here again.
Keep it going.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Maybe we'll
Keep it
make some
going,
music
dude.
together too. Pete started rapping last week. We got to try. He killed it.
Awesome.
One or two takes did it take you to
I
lay
think
it
it was
down?
like 2 takes.
Yeah.
He's like 2 takes. Tommy and I will get that
Big
thing out
Tom's
there.
got the audio.
We
It's
get
fire.
that out there. That's great.
Awesome, guys.
All
Well, thank
right.
you for having me.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you for being here, guys. I
Appreciate
hope
it.
you enjoyed it. Hope you guys take something away from it. Click the links, subscribe, share, whatever you guys want to do. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good stuff, dog. You guys are OG, man.
Thanks, bro.